Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to today's lesson from Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. I just want to remind you again that this is a memoir in verse. A memoir is a memory that an author writes about from their own life, and it's usually written in first person. And this memoir is unique because it's written in verse, meaning it's written in stanzas instead of paragraphs. In today's lesson, we're just going to talk about conventions in grammar. And our first one that we're going to look at is onomatopoeia. And we had visited this a few lessons ago. And these are concept words such as squish, humming, and shushes. And they're words that imitate the sounds they mean. So when you say the word, saying it is exactly how you would kind of hear it. For example, if we look at animal sounds such as woof or moo and meow, when we say those words, it's almost like the sound that we hear for that word. So you're going to have two worksheets to complete for onomatopoeia. If you need reminders of what an onomatopoeia is or examples, that's here at the top of the first page. And then you have 5 sections altogether to complete. The first section says each item below contains 3 onomatopoeic words in parentheses, and you're going to select the correct onomatopoeic word to complete each sentence. So let's look at number 1. The horse blank hungrily on the apples. Is it chomped, chirped, or honked? You're going to circle the word that belongs on that line. And then that's how you would complete the other 3 as well. For part B on this page, you're going to select the correct onomatopoeic word from the word list to complete each sentence. So our words are thud, sloshing, croak, whimpering, and screeched. If we look at number 1, Maria drank so much water before the race that she could hear it blank around in her stomach as she ran. So what word belongs on that line? Is it thud? Could she hear it thudding around in her stomach? Sloshing? Could she hear it sloshing around in her stomach? Croak? Could she hear it croak around in her stomach? Could she hear it whimpering around in her stomach? Or could she hear it screeched around in her stomach? And that's how you'll complete the rest of that section. Now, part A on the second page is very similar to part A on the first page. You're going to select the correct onomatopoeic word to complete each sentence. So here we have for number 1, my dog Molly snarled or sniffed at the air as I cooked dinner. You're going to circle the correct onomatopoeic word. That's how you'll complete the rest of this section. And part B, you're going to match the noun in the left-hand column here with the corresponding onomatopoeic word on the right-hand column. For example, let's look at number 1, lion. So which onomatopoeic word goes with lion? Is it crackle, squish, roar, jingle, or hoot? You're going to pick the letter that matches the word that belongs to lion and put it on that line. And then finally in part C, you're just going to use each of the onomatopoeic words in a complete sentence. So we have number 1 is hiss. For example, your sentence could be, the snake made a hiss sound as I walked by. Next, we have conventions. Now, today's conventions are talking about nouns, and a noun is a name of a person, place, a thing, or an idea. And there's 3 different kinds of nouns that we're going to talk about. The first is a common noun, and this is a name of any one of a class of people, places, things, or ideas. Common nouns are not capitalized. So common means that they're general. They don't name anything specific, such as a chair. Yes, it's a chair, but it's not a specific chair. There's many different kinds of chairs. Or table. There's many different kinds of tables. So when it's general, and it just refers to a type of a thing or people or a place or an idea, then it's common, it's not capitalized. The next is a proper noun. And this is where we name something specific, such as your name. Your name is capitalized because it refers to a specific person. It refers to you. Yes, there are other people with your name, but they're each individual people. Or another example would be McDonald's. There's many McDonald's, but it's a specific type of restaurant, so the name is capitalized. In this story from Brown Girl Dreaming, this is unique because sometimes a poet may choose not to capitalize a proper noun for an effect or style. And that's what Jacqueline Woodson does here. She doesn't capitalize the word Brooklyn, even though it's the name of a specific place. And then finally, we have our possessive nouns, which show ownership. So you can have singular possessive, which means it's one person. My sister is one person, right? So if I was talking about my sister's toy, I would use an apostrophe S at the end of sisters. So it would look like this, sisters. But then we also have plural. So I have more than one sister. So I could say my sister's toys. And here, sisters, because it's plural, it ends in S. So all we have to do is add the apostrophe at the end. So let's look at some examples right from Brown Girl Dreaming. The first one is a common noun, and my uncle likes the stories I'm making up. Uncle is a noun. It is a person, but it's not a specific name for a person, so we don't capitalize it. Again, so is stories. Stories is a noun, but it doesn't name a specific story, so you don't capitalize it. Next, we have our proper nouns. Robert showing us the steps he learned at the Far Rockaway parties. Robert is the name of a specific person, so it's capitalized. Just like Far Rockaway is a name of a specific place, so it's capitalized. Finally, we have the possessive nouns. Stories in my head take me back there. Set me down in Daddy's garden. Here's that apostrophe S. It means that this garden belongs to Daddy. So you're going to have 3 worksheets here for common, proper, and possessive nouns. And the description of what each of those are, an example, is at the top of the first and second pages. So let's look at what you're going to do for each section. So on this first page here, for each of the following lines from Brown Girl Dreaming, identify the nouns. And then you're going to label it if it's a common, proper, or possessive noun. And there may be more than one noun in each line. So let's look at number 1 here. It says, all kinds of people are doing all kinds of things. So we want to look for the people, place, thing, or idea in this statement to find the noun. And people is a noun. It's a person, right? Doesn't name anything specific. So this would be labeled as a common noun. So I would write people dash common. Also, things is a noun, but it's not naming anything specific. So I would write things slash common. And then you complete the rest of that section that way. On the second page in part A, again, you're going to list the noun and identify if it's a common, proper, or possessive. So if we look at number 1, Keisha writes beautifully. So I'm looking for the person, place, thing, or idea in this story or this line, and we have Keisha. Now Keisha names a specific person. So I would write Keisha, and then I would put a dash, and I would write proper because it names something specific, and you'll complete the rest of the section in that manner. Now for part B, you're going to underline or circle the nouns in each of the following sentences. And in parentheses, there's a number after each line. That tells you how many nouns you're going to find in that line. So if we look at number 1, Jill and Brian don't look like siblings. There's 3 nouns in this sentence. So I would circle Jill because that's a proper noun, it names someone. Brian because it names someone. And siblings is a noun, they're people. but it doesn't name anything specific. So there's my 3 nouns. Now in the last page, in part A, you're going to, on the line, replace the underlined word with the noun of the type identified in parentheses. So let's look at sentence number 1. Right here it says, I convinced her to come to the park with me. They want you to replace her with a proper noun. Now, her refers to a girl. So all I have to do, it's a proper noun they want. So I just put a name in. I convinced Jennifer to come to the park with me. And that's how you're going to go through the rest of that section. And then finally, in part B on this page, you're going to identify the nouns in each sentence, and you're going to write how many nouns you found in the sentence on the line. So Dad asked Sam to help Jack and Muhammad clean the basement. So you're going to look for the nouns, the people, place, thing, or idea in the sentence. So Dad is 1, Sam is 2, Jack is 3, Muhammad is 4, and basement is 5. So you would write a 5 on that line. And you'll go through each sentence in the rest of the section in the same way. Circle or underline the noun and then write how many nouns you found for that sentence on the line.